Today we're tackling this whole world of audio mastering.
Okay.
And we've got a ton of articles and notes about this new AI assistant. It's called Soren.
Soren, interesting.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
I have. I've seen it around.
Okay. Yeah, so it's basically promising to be like a secret weapon for making your tracks sound, you know, like polished and professional.
Right.
And it's making me think of all those like iconic albums where mastering played a huge role.
Yeah, and now with Soren, it seems like that kind of power is at everyone's fingertips.
Exactly. That's what's so fascinating to me.
It is fascinating, and it's true that mastering is often misunderstood.
Yeah.
People think it's just about making things louder, but it's so much more than that.
It's funny you say that because I feel like that's what I thought it was. Just turn it up, right?
Exactly. It's not just turning it up, though.
Yeah.
Think of mastering more like you're taking a rough diamond
Okay.
and you're turning it into a sparkling gem.
Okay. I like that.
You've put all this work into writing and mixing your music, and mastering is that final step that brings out its full brilliance.
I see.
It's that polish that makes it really shine.
So it's not just about cranking up the volume then.
Right.
What does mastering actually do to transform a track?
Well, you've got to think about balance. You've got to think about consistency.
Okay.
Making sure your music sounds fantastic on every system imaginable.
Oh, wow. So from
From those high-end studio monitors to the tiny speakers on your phone.
got it.
Mastering engineers use a variety of tools and techniques to fine-tune the frequency balance,
Okay.
smooth out the dynamics, and optimize the overall loudness without introducing distortion.
Okay, so there's definitely a science to it.
Yeah, there is.
But how does this AI assistant fit into the picture?
Yeah.
Is it trying to replace human mastering engineers?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Soren is more like a powerful ally,
Okay.
assisting musicians and producers in achieving professional-sounding results. It combines advanced algorithms, machine learning, and good old-fashioned digital signal processing
Okay.
to make mastering more accessible and efficient.
So from what I've read, the workflow seems incredibly simple.
Yeah.
You just choose your track,
Right.
pick a genre or a reference track, select your desired style and loudness, and Soren does its magic.
That's the idea.
And I even saw something about a preview versus full track feature.
Yes, that's a fantastic feature.
Interesting.
For those who like to experiment and tweak,
Okay.
you can quickly preview the effects of different mastering settings on a portion of your track without having to wait for a full master at each time.
That sounds super handy, especially for someone like me who likes to tinker around and find the perfect sound.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I still get a little intimidated by some of the technical terms involved in mastering.
Okay, yeah, it can be a little daunting.
Like dynamic range. It sounds important, but I'm not quite sure what it means in practice.
Right, so think of dynamic range as the emotional roller coaster of your music.
Okay.
It's the difference between the quietest and loudest parts of a song.
I see.
A wide dynamic range gives you those breathtaking highs and lows, creating space and depth,
Okay.
while a narrow range can feel more compressed and in your face.
So a classical symphony would probably have a wider dynamic range than, say, a high-energy EDM track.
Exactly. Different genres often call for different approaches to dynamic range. Classical music thrives on that wide range, capturing the full spectrum of emotions.
Makes sense.
But genres like EDM might opt for a narrower dynamic range to maintain that constant energy and drive.
Got it. Okay. And how does Soren handle this concept of dynamic range?
Yeah,
Does it just automatically squash everything to make it loud?
not at all. Soren actually gives you control over the dynamic range of your master.
Okay.
It offers different loudness options ranging from soft to dynamic to normal to loud,
I see.
allowing you to choose the setting that best suits your genre and artistic vision.
That makes a lot of sense. So you're not sacrificing control or sacrificing the emotional impact of your music just
Right.
to make it loud.
Exactly.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just setting a loudness level, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Two other important elements of mastering are compression and limiting.
Okay.
You can think of compression as a way to smooth out the volume fluctuations in your track, making it feel more cohesive.
Okay.
Limiting acts like a safety net, preventing the audio from exceeding a certain level and causing distortion.
So it's a bit like finding the perfect balance, right?
Yeah, you got it. Soren takes a more nuanced approach to compression and limiting.
Okay.
It's designed to avoid those pitfalls, achieving loudness without sacrificing clarity and punch. It uses what's called a multi-stage approach to limiting,
Okay.
which means it's carefully managing those peaks, those really loud moments, to ensure the track sounds great on any playback system.
So Soren is carefully controlling those peaks, making sure nothing gets squashed or distorted, while still keeping my music safe from distortion.
Yeah.
This is way more sophisticated than I initially thought.
It is a powerful tool.
But before we get too deep into the tech, I'm curious about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How did we even get to this point where we have AI mastering assistants like Soren?
That's a great question. To understand Soren's place in the world of mastering, it helps to look back at how mastering has evolved over the years,
Okay.
from its early days in the analog world to the digital revolution and beyond.
Okay, let's take that journey. I'm picturing those old school studios
Right.
with giant mixing consoles and reels of tape.
Yeah,
It must have been a completely different world back then.
it was. Back in the analog era, mastering engineers relied heavily on their ears experience and specialized equipment.
Yeah.
It's a very hands-on process with limitations imposed by the physical media itself.
So how did things change with the digital revolution? Was it all sunshine and roses?
Well, the digital revolution opened up a whole new world of possibilities in terms of precision and control. But it also brought about what we call the loudness wars,
Oh, yeah.
where there was this race to make tracks as loud as possible,
I remember those days.
often at the expense of dynamic range and sonic quality.
The era of squashed, compressed music.
Right?
So are we finally moving away from that now?
Thankfully, yes.
Okay, good.
The rise of streaming platforms and loudness normalization has helped shift the focus back to dynamics and balance.
Makes sense.
Tools like Soren are part of this evolution,
Okay.
making it easier to achieve loudness without sacrificing the integrity of the music. Think about how annoying it is when you're switching between songs or streaming services,
Oh, yeah.
and one track suddenly blasts you out of your seat,
Yes.
while another is barely audible.
Happens all the time.
LUFS aims to prevent that kind of jarring experience.
Okay, so mastering with LUFS in mind is crucial for anyone who wants their music to sound good on these platforms.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that makes Soren so powerful.
Okay.
It helps you achieve a balance between loudness and clarity,
Mm-hmm.
while ensuring that your tracks meet industry standards for LUFS.
Okay.
It's not just about chasing a specific LUFS target,
Right.
it's about finding the sweet spot for your music.
So Soren considers the overall sound quality and artistic intent, not just a number on a meter.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But even with LUFS taken care of,
Yeah.
there are still other crucial aspects of mastering that we need to consider,
Okay, such as?
like spectral and transient balance.
Oh, those sound pretty technical.
So spectral balance is all about distributing the energy
Okay.
across the frequency spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your bass frequencies, the low end, that gives music its weight and power.
Yeah.
You've got your mid-range frequencies, where most instruments and vocals live.
Right.
And your high frequencies, which add sparkle and clarity.
Okay.
Mastering is about ensuring that each frequency range is properly represented without one overpowering the others.
So it's like creating a sonic landscape.
Yes.
Where all the elements have their place and can shine through.
Exactly.
Ah.
And different genres often have distinct spectral balances.
Okay.
Soren's AI engine analyzes each track and applies custom processing
Okay.
to achieve the ideal spectral balance for that specific piece of music.
So Soren isn't just making things loud, it's making sure they sound good too.
It's about finding that sweet spot between loudness and clarity,
Okay.
ensuring that the music retains its punch and impact while still being listenable and enjoyable.
But it's important to remember that technology is just a tool, right?
Absolutely.
Human creativity is still at the heart of it all.
Human creativity is key. Soren empowers artists to achieve professional-sounding results, but ultimately, it's up to the creator to shape the final sound and express their unique vision.
I think that's a really important point. Soren isn't here to replace human creativity. It's here to enhance it,
Right.
to give artists more control and more freedom to experiment.
Exactly. It's about breaking down those technical barriers and making mastering more accessible to everyone. Before we wrap things up, there's one more aspect of Soren that I think deserves a deeper dive.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Its ability to handle different types of audio content beyond just music.
So we've been talking all about Soren as this like game changer for musicians.
Right.
But you're saying it goes way beyond just music.
It does. It goes beyond music. Think podcasts, think audiobooks, even video game soundtracks.
Wow.
Soren can handle it all. Mastering isn't just about making music loud.
Right.
It's about making any audio sound its best. Whether you're a musician recording your first album, a podcaster sharing your thoughts with the world, or a game developer creating immersive soundscapes.
Yeah.
Soren can help you achieve professional sounding results.
And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive.